Thank you so much, guys, for watching After Hours with Alex Stein. Now, I got to play this clip from my favorite senator from the great state of South Carolina, basically just, talking about this war that's so great. Let's play it.
To all the anti-Semites, to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
So, Brandon, I got to ask you, are you an anti-Semitite? Are you an anti-Semitite?
No, I am not, nor am I an anti-Semite. I'm just an American first, always and forever. And I have no ill will toward my Jewish neighbors or my Jewish friends or the Jewish people. This isn't about that. This is about cold, hard, pragmatic national interests. And Lady Lindsey knows that. But, Lady Lindsey is sitting around waxing ineloquent about this war, a war that she has no connection to. And Lady Lindsey is also the one who is telling President Trump to invade Karg Island, which I broke when I wrote for the National Interest last year. This was his idea. He probably divined it when he was shining Netanyahu's shoes last year. But Karg Island is the hardened oil refinery island of Iran off the coast. It is probably one of the most important parts of Iran's economy. Trump is talking about sending ground forces. This is an insane postulation. It will be absolutely disastrous for the United States military. It is a hardened island. It is a major oil producing part. And even though we don't get oil from the Iranian economy, attacking an oil facility like that will just spike the price more by adding volatility into the market. But, I think Lindsey is attracted to the phallic nature of the missiles, so perhaps that's why he likes it.
He definitely likes his shape, for sure. Now, I got to ask you this. Steve Bannon, a guy I like, a guy that, you go on his show. Do you think Trump's
he's a
biggest error, I think this was his biggest error, and I forget who I was watching talk about it, is that there was actually a little bit of a divide between Bannon and Jared Kushner. And I think Trump admitted that Kushner was one of the guys that basically, convinced him to start this war. Do you think that was maybe one of the biggest errors Trump has made by not siding with Bannon and siding with his son-in-law?
Well, I think that Bannon should have been the chief of staff in the first term. I don't think it should have been Reince Priebus. I've said this to Bannon before, and that's not me just, waxing, trying to make him feel good. But I think that Bannon played a key role in focusing the energy of Trump. Trump is a very energetic guy. He's got great ideas, but he had a team around him in 2016, even Kellyanne Conway, who I've been critical of in years since. But Kellyanne, Rebecca Mercer, Steve Bannon, I think these people were instrumental at the moment they came into Trump's orbit in taking that incredible ball of energy that is Trump with all of these dynamic ideas and really prioritizing a handful of things like immigration, like, tariffs, things like that. These are ideas Trump had, but what Bannon did was discipline the system. And, they made fun of him, calling him an enabler in the first term. But personally, I think that Trump needed that kind of enabler who was also going to keep him on point, because the minute they got rid of Bannon, the minute they got rid of Mike Flynn, the whole thing went off the rails in the first term, and you had impeachment gate, you had Russia gate, you had all of these things, and then you had the stealing of the election. It is my contention that had Bannon been given greater authority in the first year or two of the first term of the presidency under Trump, we would be in a very different position now. So I do think it was a mistake, and Steve did not ask me to say this. I haven't talked to him about this really, but these are thoughts that I've had for many years. And I think the problem is that Trump did not side with actual MAGA and actual America first. He keeps siding with his son-in-law, who's a globalist.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. And I guess what, really frustrates me about Trump is that I still like Trump. I don't really think he's, as bad a guy as, some people on the left will say. I don't think Trump is perfect either. I don't think Trump is just some perfect person. No one is perfect. But will his legacy be forever tarnished from this? Or do you think that he can save his legacy by, I guess, somehow coming out of this, looking halfway decent?
Yeah. So your point, and initially I agree with to a point, but on this issue, like with COVID in the first term, he's crapped the bed so royally, it is very hard for him to pull out of this. Now, unlike COVID, which happened at the end of his first term, which means there were certain calculations he had to take into account for reelection, he doesn't have to do that now. This crisis, self-made, is happening relatively early in his presidency. He still has both houses of Congress. He still has a sizable portion of the Republican Party. If he goes and takes this offer by Putin to negotiate, yes, it comes with downside risks, but there's no good options here anymore. Guess what? If you can work with Putin on ending the Iran war and then converting that into, hey, now let's end the Ukraine war, he could come out, Trump could come out as possibly the great man of peace. Right now, he's a man of war. He wants to be a man of peace. This is how you do it. You turn into the crisis. You may have created it, but Mr. President, if you are listening, turn into this crisis now. Take the licks in the beginning, eat some crow in the beginning, but over time we will build a better relationship with the Russians, which will allow for us to navigate the twin crises now of Iran plus Ukraine, and Trump might come out on top at that point. But as it stands, if he keeps with the current plan, which I fear he is on track for a quagmire. He is on track to be basically worse than Herbert Hoover. There will not be a Republican president after him for the next 50 years, I don't believe.
You know, I hope he does that, and I think that is a way that he can save his legacy by ending the Ukraine war and this war at the same time, even though he started one of those wars, or in a way, if he did that, I think that would fix his legacy.
It's a twofer.
You said something very interesting earlier. You're worried about a nuke. But according to, I guess, open source material, Israel doesn't have a nuclear program, right? I mean, so how would they drop a nuclear bomb?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There are no nukes, and the vaccines are safe and effective. Totally. And, there's also the chance that, if things keep falling apart, Trump might himself go up the escalation ladder very radically. I think that's a very low possibility, but,
Brandon, do you really think that's well, I had to cut you off because we only have so much time. Do you really think that it is a possibility that Trump would drop a nuke? I don't think that he would go that far. I hope not think that. I mean,
a year ago I would have said no.
Where would he drop it on Tehran? Would he drop it on Tehran?
Yeah,
I mean,
a year ago I would have said no way. But look at what's gone on the last 3 weeks. 2 weeks, So, I mean, we're in uncharted water here, which is why I beg the president, work with Putin. It's going to be tough in the beginning, but we can maybe turn this into a long-term victory. The way Nixon turned Vietnam into an opening with the rest of Asia. We lost Vietnam, but we won Asia at the end of the day because we flipped it.
Well, okay, so we've talked enough about the war. I got to talk about a subject that I love, space. Now, Can you tell me a little bit about your book, Winning Space? We only have a few minutes, but are you obsessed with space as well?
So when I worked on the Hill, they used to call me the space cadet because I somehow fell into the niche, even though I have no scientific background educationally. I fell into the niche of national security space policy, and I kept working on that throughout my time out of Congress when I became a consultant. The Golden Dome is, I think, one of Trump's biggest initiatives that he should be focusing on way more. And basically, my argument is, in order to make America great again and to put America first, you need to have what's known as space dominance. Our satellites are vulnerable to attack. Those satellites are key for everything. This was why Trump was a visionary in his first term, creating Space Force as an independent branch of the armed forces. Now we got to build off of it with space dominance as the key. Please, Mr. President, do Golden Dome, do it smartly, get Elon involved. Let's build a real dominant position in space, and let's get back to the moon. That's the basis of my book, essentially. Those are the advocacy points in my book.
Well, they say Artemis is supposed to go to the moon, but they keep on
Artemis will never make it. Artemis will never make it.
They're never going to go. So
it's got to be SpaceX.
Good. I think we agree on that. So I'm happy that because NASA. I went to the Johnson Space Center. It looks more like Disneyland than it does like a scientific center to me. So,
but I do like the new NASA director, Isaacman. He's solid, and I think he's going to get this right. I really have faith in him.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But I think also, isn't China dominating us in space right now? Or
They are
the top
neck
dog
and
in
neck.
space?
No, well, technically on paper, they would say that we are the top dog, but China has a lot of momentum, and they're coming up from behind, and they have a comprehensive space strategy. You know, the head of China's lunar program said the moon, the universe is an ocean, and the moon is the South China Sea. That should tell you what the Chinese want to do with the moon. They want to annex it because they annexed the South China Sea. So that's what we're up against. And the Chinese are really close to accomplishing their mission, whereas we are still dithering around here around here on Earth with the Artemis program, which is going nowhere fast.
Well, Brandon, you know, a lot of people are going to be triggered by some of the things that we said. So
I don't care.
How do we... I know, but I mean, I do care a little bit. How do we win the hearts of all these people that voted for Trump because he was anti-war and then are now pro-war? And I guess I'm kind of like you. I don't care. But at the same time, I don't want people to hate me because I'm staying true to what I thought, what I voted for, you know, anti-war. And those are the guys that are being, you know, flip-floppers. I guess, how do we get them on board, or will it just be time like COVID?
It's time, but if I have to be the villain here, I will be the arch villain, and I will be the guy to make Trump hopefully see the light and do the right thing. I never need the credit for it. I don't care. But let's just get a deal now with Putin, and let's turn this into a victory. Let's be the man of peace that Trump said he wanted to be. That'll get him the Nobel Prize. That will get him the Nobel Prize. If he can work with Putin on Iran plus Ukraine, I mean, that's dynamite right there, man. And of course, the guy who created dynamite is created the Nobel Prize. So there you go.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so Brandon, before you go, I know you just passed 40,000 followers on X.
Oh, yeah.
Tell the people where they can find you and how they can support you.
So you can find me at We the Brandon. I also am the NatSec guy at emerald.tv, and I'm a senior editor, national security editor at 1945.com. Get my books on Amazon. There's 4 bestsellers with your name on it. Go for it.
Well, thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate you making time, and I learned a lot. And I think we're going to solve. I think we just solved Trump's presidency. He ends the war in Ukraine, and then he stops the war in Iran. Even though he started it, he stops it, and he's still a hero. So thank you, Brandon.
Right. Yes,
it's
sir.
all the better. I agree with you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, coming up next, we got more war talk. I know I'm sick and tired of it, but we also have some viral videos that you don't want to miss.